I'll give you 1 second. Okay, I got it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to NW2. This is Network Equals Net Worth, and you are probably joining us for the replay. So if you do have replay, hit replay in the comment section because we're on YouTube as well. For those of you who are in class and you missed something, you want to go back, Karen's going to put it on YouTube. And there's a lot of big things to report today. So we've got more people that are going to be kind of jumping in. But we were talking about Andrew having the best year ever. So we're going to kind of get him to tell us all his details.
Yeah. And I was telling this to one of my staff members, my paraplanner here last week. A lot of this that I'm getting now is things I started a year ago. I really did a big marketing push like a year ago, trying to develop more relationships on it, getting better, higher quality introductions from people. And then just the time of really kind of mastering more on what I do and just really strengthening my value proposition on it. And it just led to some really cool and fun things and a lot of some really awesome new clientele. I mean, I had a meeting 2 weeks ago with my first 9-figure net worth person at 150 million, owns like 20 some businesses, which is he's got a massive tax problem. And I'm like, well, we do that and really, really, really well on it. And so it's just kind of really exciting. Like every day is literally exciting because it's like, I'm not sure what's going to happen today. More often it's good things than bad things, but it's just like just showing up, doing the work, trying to do what's best for other people on it, and really great things happen. I mean, I don't like to talk about my income too much, but let's just say this week might be a 6-figure business week. So yes, starting this afternoon and the next 2 days. And so that's pretty cool on it. So we'll see how it goes. And then actually September is probably going to be my best month this year as far as adding new clients. I think I have 6 new businesses and probably about 4 or 5 individuals on it. So it's going to be a lot of work, but that's also why I'm adding more staff, is to help out with that. So it's just
right.
It's something simple as working hard and showing up. That's basically all I can say is what it is. So
well, I think one of the things that is very fun to watch for you, which I think everybody in group is liking to watch as well, is so you mentioned value proposition. We're going to talk about that today. So we'll give you a little more on that. Today's topic will be very helpful to you because it really is going to be kind of the next step of where you're going. But what I think is really clear, and this is also kind of how Sandy has been very successful this year as well, is really, really defining all of those things. You're actually doing the homework, right? I mean, that's one of the things that we all can say that we're doing, right? And Jamie, and you're doing the homework. And when you start doing the homework of who is my client, what's my value proposition, right? What can I deliver? It makes it a lot easier. And you have staff now, and now you're getting to a point where we're gonna have to expand that again.
Yeah. I inherited we had advisor leave, and not only leave our firm, just left the industry in total.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I did some work with him, and they're just like, hey, why don't you just take over his clients, his book? Well, that's 150. He had 150 some people. I'm like, well, that's 150 some more phone calls. And so we're I have, when I say staff, I have a paraplanner, so people don't know, who works kind of directly with me. I do like all the analysis works, but he handles all like the website, the follow-up, when we're submitting stuff, paperwork. He handles all that because that's really is just kind of busy work time frame on it. It's I do make money off it, but I make more by having him take the time to do it versus me do it. And now I'm getting to the point where I think I need to have someone that handles scheduling and service stuff. So where it's like, I have enough clientele that I need to, I try to meet with people at least once a year, if not twice, depending upon what level of service they are. And so having someone just to call and schedule that, or call and schedule follow-up meetings. I get requests on where it's like, hey, I need copies of whatever. And
Yep.
right now I'm doing that, and I really should have someone else doing that, because again, that takes me away, because it's kind of like the two sides of it. If you're doing one thing, that means you can't be doing another thing. And so I want to be spending more time doing like client stuff, analysis work, prep for meetings, versus like, hey, I got to call and get people. There's some people I do need to schedule myself, but others just like, can you call and get this scheduled and just get it on my calendar? And so I can start getting booked out 2-3 weeks in advance, just so I kind of know what I can do, and it'll just be more efficient. And actually what should happen, the customer service should be able to go up, because they're hearing from multiple people now and making sure it's getting done. Because that's what a lot of my staff does now, is really hold me accountable to make sure, hey, your follow-up's doing this, did you get this done? I'm like, oh crap, yeah, I got distracted by whatever. Yeah, okay, thank you on it. So I thank my staff a lot, where it's like, hey, yeah, I'm just trying to, you hold me accountable. So I'm just trying to get stuff so you don't get mad at me, even though I'm the boss, but it's like just kind of fun that way.
I love it that you're booking only 3 weeks in advance. So
Yeah.
I book my life a year in advance. So the thought of only knowing your schedule a month.
I mean, there's only one Mickey Mike wear, so it's like,
my God.
that's the delta I gotta go. I'm only 3 weeks, Mickey's a year. I mean,
Right. I am prepping my year.
I'm 11 months behind Mickey right now.
And I am this year, I'm prepping for my retirement, so I'm letting go of all my personal clients and just kind of moving on. And yeah, it's very different, but again, getting your schedule together, getting your time together. I think the thing that's also really great about your Ascend is understanding that one thing that you said, which was, if I'm doing this, I can't be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple to go, if I'm doing this, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
If I'm doing this, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I tell my business owner clients. And so it's like realizing myself, like trying to teach them like how important their time is. Because it's, the proverbial, are you working on your business or in your business? And you don't want to be spending too much time working in your business. You don't be working on your business on it. And so, I'm kind of have to, eat what I'm sowing right now on it, where it's like, oh yeah, this also applies to myself as well. And so, ironically met a gal at my apartment building who I think would be awesome, who's looking for a new job, who said that's what she wants to be, is kind of like an executive assistant type. I'm like, yeah, that might work out. Otherwise, I do have a great firm. I can just tell them, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm meeting, and then they can do some of the legwork as well on that. So we'll see what happens on it. I just want to make sure I can get all this big pipeline that I have, just make sure it gets all done right, done in a great time frame, and just see where the next steps are.
Yeah. Well,
I love you to the core, Andrew.
Yeah. Right. We are so proud of you.
Yeah.
And glad that everything is going well. So I'm just going to let the group respond. Does anyone have any words of advice for Andrew at this point?
I think it should be the other way around.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think Andrew needs any advice.
it took 10 years to get to this point. So that's that's how long it could take. I mean, I remember my first about 4 years, I think I was maybe making 30,000 a year, maybe on it. Unfortunately, my budget was 40,000 is what I needed to make. So it took some let's say a lot of cereal eating those days on it, but
Right.
but I just kind of had this vision. I'm still chasing of where I want to go on it. And then there's some cool things that have happened here actually recently. And Mickey, don't take offense to this. My firm's actually paying for me to go see, or to be coached for a year.
Good.
The top advisors in the whole
You
US.
should be.
So So I get to go to Dallas here in a week and a half and for a workshop, and then once a month have kind of check-in and more. And because my firm partner is one of the top people, this guy's like number 2. And so it's like, great. I just see it as a great opportunity on it. And just anything to learn and get better, I think is important. I mean, there's no better investment, in my opinion, than investing in yourself to make you better, because ultimately that's what people like. That's what people want. I mean, you know, Sandy, I know you're a realtor on it, and I tell this to a lot of people as well. It's like, well, what sets you apart? Like, you can find a realtor ever. What sets you apart? Well, if you know more about what's going on in the market, or you got more connections, whatever, that's what people, you know, grasp onto. And like I said, that's one thing I added a lot was, like I said, value proposition is like knowing a little bit more details on things. And when you, especially if you want to work up market, those little details are what really people grab onto. That's really why, like for me, it's like understanding taxes and business entity planning. And that's where people who have, excuse my English, people who have a lot of shit, that's what they're attracted to. It's like, oh my God, you can save me more on taxes. That's the reason I got the next couple of weeks, I think that's why I'm getting hired by 4 people, is because like I have a CPA, I have a bookkeeper. I just feel like I'm missing something. I talk to them about it, like this is exactly what I need. And so that's, you know, that those little extra details that you know a little bit more, like I said, a little bit more, the more value you can bring, then you become valuable. And when you become valuable, the cool other thing part is people are never going to leave you as well. They're going to keep coming back to you, coming back to you, coming back to you. They're going to tell you like, hey, no, you should use my person. They're fantastic because of blah, 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 blah. And now you're getting phone calls from people that you don't even realize. You didn't even ask for referrals. They're just starting to show up. And that's what makes it like, hey, I'm you know, what we like calling our side a trusted advisor. And so that's where you want to be.
Well, Andrew, I wanted to make sure that everyone got a chance to hear your great story. And going back to the part of, you know, understanding value proposition, we'll talk about that today in class. The other thing is that, I coach you personally, only to, you've already just achieved what I needed, which was a 6-figure week.
There you go. There you go.
That,
well, it hasn't happened yet. It's not,
you met my goal.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, learning how to make a 6-figure week, and that, and what you have to do, set up, and how to set up your books, you know, how to set it up so that you can be sustainable.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at. And I think today's topic will really help you understand long-term relationships, because now you're at the 10-year mark. You had those years that it was difficult, but it's really, I think one of the other things I want to bring up to the group, and a couple of you also do this as well, is you really journal. I mean, you really do morning page journal. Here's my vision. Here's my vision. Here's my vision. And for those of you who have been through business cohort, I mean, it is
Every
critical.
day, every business day. I do this every day. What do I need to get done? And then what are my goals? Like every day, I want to see that. So
every day, if you want to know what is the secret to all of you who have grown to be at that 6-figure week, it is that you really have to be clear on what your vision is. One, you have to want a 6-figure week. And that was something that he wanted. Some of you want something different. Some of you want time, some of you want something else, but it really is to look at what is the thing that you want and really put that forward and what that means. And in order to get him to a 6-figure week, we had to have staffing. We had to actually do with less for longer. So we had to make sure that he had staffing before he got a raise. Even though he was making more money, he didn't get to keep more money. And Sandy, we went through this with you. Michelle, we've done this with you, right? That you had to invest in service providers. So yeah, great news, great news. Penny, glad you're here. You want to do a quick introduction? You're back in business.
Yeah, I am. My name is Penny Johnson. I have 3 companies. The third one, we're still working on the launch, so that's coming. But I have Ravenhawk, which is a spiritual counseling / healing business. I have Raven's Wing, which is a pet care service, or like dog walking / pet sitting. And then I have Wood Nymph Apothecary, which is going to be a bath care type of product.
Good.
So that's what's going on. And I just had a client yesterday.
Good. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Please put your information in the chat box, everybody. We love to hear from you, so that we can also connect and see what's there. Mike Welton, oh my gosh, State Fair. Are you super tan?
Yeah.
It's so good. Give us your introduction and how summer went and how did the State Fair go?
The state fair was fun. It was a gallery with 12 other people. And so we all took turns working it. It's kind of a price sensitive crowd just because of the fair and stuff, but you can make connections and stuff. And it was just, it was fun seeing people buy like their first piece of art and stuff like that. So, but
Yeah.
I liked how the booth was primarily, it was original art. It wasn't like a lot of prints and stuff like, well, it was prints, but they were like, you know, mono prints. They were like actual prints people did. So yeah.
And now you also, like Andrew, you have had a lot of things. You've had a year and a half of really putting in systems around you. How's the systems going?
Well, I've gone through all my emails and tried to update and prioritize them from people who, you know, buy more, people who have collected more and stuff. And then, and presently I'm trying to put together like a newsletter or a way to keep in contact with these people on a regular basis. Because that's where I kind of fell down. I wasn't keeping in contact with them, but it felt really good when I did contact them and then they contacted me back and stuff. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, I'll let Sandy talk to that because she's been there where she had to, like, she wanted to start a newsletter, started it, you know, whatever. So it may be, she might have some words of advice for you
okay, great.
on newsletter getting rolling. Sandy, any words of advice on newslettering?
Oh, and the newslettering? Well, yeah, I mean, that was a big deal getting out a newsletter every single week. And so I just, I had to do it. And I do have a marketing assistant. So I have you know, I had to be accountable. So she's like, what are you going to put in the newsletter this week? You know, and so we put in some things that we always do, like a couple of things that we always do. And then I usually write an article or I find an article from a company that provides, you know, articles for real estate agents, find one. So it was just consistency in my marketing assistant. She's a graphic designer. So the newsletter always looks really nice. She makes sure it looks good. So it was just kind of a combination of accountability, having the right person to do it, and just doing it no matter what.
And I think that once a week is a lot for an artist. So Mike, don't take that on in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a week. And
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. But I do love the idea of just finding another person to help you be accountable. And I think that's what everybody has said today, right? That they have an accountability partner on the things that are really important to them. So yeah, I think that's really a great tool. Mike, tell me what you learned at the state fair, because that you know, I met you when you were, you know, selling your stuff yourself. I mean, you are the front line, but the state fair feels really big. I mean, that's 1 million people.
yeah, well, you have to say hi to everyone that comes in, and then there's just different ways. It's just like being yourself, trying to talk to people, not so much that they're your personal friends, but taking like an active interest in them. The main woman that runs the gallery, she thanked me for facilitating a big sale, because the woman came in and she had been in, she told me twice before. So anytime someone keeps coming back and looking at a piece of art is really interested in stuff. And so I was just like, that's great, you know. And she was kind of nervous about buying. So I was like, yeah, that's real common. People come back and stuff. And then I took out a piece of paper and I said, you know, let us take down your name and number and stuff, and just, you know, just so that we know and stuff. And I think that was helpful. It like showed an act of interest in her and stuff. And so in a half an
Closing
hour,
the
she
sale.
came back and bought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, and that's all that training, right? How to close, how to
Yeah.
stay there.
because when I talked to the owner of the booth, she was just like, well, she likes it, she just buy it. And I'm just like, well, you know, you have to consider who the client is and kind of tailor your interaction with them.
That's great advice. Great advice. Well, Mike, welcome back. We always love to see you. You're gonna like today's topic, I think. Oh, Janet Mills has something to say. Please ask.
What's the name of the gallery at the State Fair? Do you think you'll be there next year?
It was called The Cream of the Crop. And it's in that West End Market area. You know, that's a good question. I don't have all the numbers in. I think it really depends on like crunching the numbers, you know, if you know, my time, and I did have to buy some prints and stuff like that, and you know, costs and stuff really equal that to, you know, making a profit of some kind and stuff. So
Do you think
so
you're gonna
kind
go do it again next year, Mike?
well, that I'm still crunching the numbers. My
got it.
partner is helping because he's good at doing that, like kind of breaking down the time it took to get, you know, like the product bought, the time it took to get, you know, everything ready and stuff, and then, you know, working the fair, stuff like that.
So fun. So fun. Well, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. Jamie,
Thanks.
give us your check-in. Where in the world are you now? I tried to wait till you were out of the car.
Can you come back to me because I'm in the bank?
Oh, good. Okay, we'll come back.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle, give us your update.
I'm not sure what to say. It's been a busy summer, very busy summer, lots of new clients. Launching some new things this fall, or bringing back really. I'm going to bring back my branding course.
Oh, good.
Yep. And looking to maybe have a level where there's more personal involvement from me, and a level where people can just go through the course on their own. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that because I love to teach. And also looking to bring back not bring back, but put it more in the forefront, an option for websites that are a little more affordable than sometimes they are with a full custom build. And I've had that for about a year, but it's kind of been, it comes up in conversation versus really showcasing it as an option. So I'm going to be building that out to showcase it as an option. So I'm excited about that also.
Good.
Yeah.
So the product that you're going back in, it sounds like, now you were in last summer's cohort. You had some new things that you built last summer. It sounds like you're going back in and looking at what you already have as
Yes.
product. And
Yeah.
refurbing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it came up. No, it didn't come up until after summer cohort.
Right.
But I have a ton of content and used to teach a lot more and kind of just put it on the back burner. And then at the end of the year, I got a new computer and I went to pull that up and start going through it and discovered that all of it on my external hard drive, when I hooked it up to the new computer, it like wiped everything out.
Oh,
So
no.
my kind of second brain disappeared, but some of it is also in Dropbox, so it wasn't a total loss. Which I thought all of it was, but it wasn't all there. So just kind of picking through what I have and looking at what kind of gets me excited. And that branding course, I worked the process with a few different clients recently, and it's good. It's really good. And it's unique in some ways compared to other ones. So I think it's really worth getting out there and sharing. So
I agree. I agree. Well, good. Welcome to class. Janet Mills, we are on to you. Happy summer. You have new stairs.
Oh, wait, Mickey, wait till you come over.
Oh, even
You're
more.
not- everything's new. So I wrote down it's back to school time. So I'm like Andrew said, what do? You show up and do the work. So that's what I'm starting right after this class. I was at the hardware store. There's a family-owned hardware store, 2 blocks from Mickey and 2 blocks from me, same ones. And there was no one there yesterday. There was no one there because all the kids were back at school. So I couldn't even like buy my electrical outlet. So that's where I'm at. I got to get like piles of work to do. And I took advantage of things this summer, like that came up. And the most exciting one was something that came out of a buddy call years ago that I paid for years ago and got to do, which was, another workshop. So it was in Copenhagen. And I would have never come back if I had the choice.
Oh, that's
Even
so
if I
good.
have new steps that aren't broken. But so I have everything kind of lined up of what I'm going to do. And like I said, I feel like it's back to school time after all these opportunities that popped up this summer.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
And family that lives in other countries that because of COVID hadn't seen for years, nieces and stuff who would come in for a few days. And it's like, Zoom isn't the same.
No, it's nice to have everybody around.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, welcome to class. I always love having you.
thank you.
Okay.
A lot to learn from you.
All right. Karen Carson, do you have any update for us?
Well, I'm right now exploring all the exciting things Facebook has done to their pages. Because they've changed them and didn't tell anybody. They just tell you that they've changed you to this new format and can't find anything on it. And when I posted the event on Facebook, it wouldn't let me invite anybody. So then I found out why that was, and I fixed that, and now there's something else. So, I think technology is just so exciting. And I'm like a Sherlock Holmes of looking for that. It's been a very easy summer.
Feels nice, doesn't it?
Yeah. And Michael's birthday party was just so nice, the 75th. And it was nice.
That's fun. Yeah, he had
Yeah.
a nice birthday. That was very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to class. Any words of advice for everybody?
Thank you, Karen, for taking care of us always and sending that email with the Zoom link. This
think
time I
sometimes
saw
people
it
don't find it.
at the bottom of my Eventbrite ticket.
Yeah.
Last month or 2 months ago, I was completely lost, but thanks for that love and care of sending that email just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a little trouble with Jamie's because she misspelled her email, but
Yes.
yeah.
Well, good. Okay, Jamie, quick, give us your check-in before we go to class. How are you?
Hello, I'm okay.
You're at the bank. That's fun.
Yeah, because I had to move some money because my PayPal account is locked. PayPal is going through, I don't know if they're going through something or anything, but they have this huge class action lawsuit and stuff that's going on. They just went through some people's accounts that get big deposits. I've never had a dispute or anything of the sort. I finally got paid from the festival,
Good.
even though I was shorted a few $1,000s.
Was it the fire festival?
No, but it's feeling like that because I haven't gotten all my money. And so I literally kind of stopped communication with the person because I was like, I'm not wrapping up anything until I get fully paid. And so that's my fault still. But then once that payment came in and then I got another big payment that came in, all of a sudden PayPal sent this red flag. I resent in all this stuff for my business stuff. And then they were like, nope, we're going to hold your account for 6 months, 180 days.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
can't, no, yeah. So then Shireen had found, like, she had been going through and then like all these people she's seen had the same problem with their business accounts at certain amounts. So but basically I had to call the attorney's office. Like they had these attorneys who are working on it, and we have to go to small claims to get them to release the money earlier than the 6 months, and then just some other stuff. It's just a mess. And I never used PayPal, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start using PayPal because it seems like it's a seamless system. And even after so many complaints, after this, I will never use them again. And so I'm a little bit frustrated with them. So I had to drive an hour and a half where my bank is from my house to like transfer money and to like do all of this stuff, to like go to my other fund so that I can pay bills. Just a little annoyed by it, but
Well, there's the life. There's the life of Jamie. And thank
Yeah.
God you have another bank.
yeah, thank God for I don't know what's the fund called. My mind's blanking right now, Mickey. So thank
Right.
God that it's padded a little bit. So I buckled down and was like, I had a little time this morning to go and do that. Other than that, like for me, business right now is really like I've been preparing for a huge social media and just marketing, huge campaign with that, and working on like all my reels and all of that other type of stuff. But also at the same time, removing clients and taking a step back from some clients, which is it's proving to be a little bit more scarier than I thought it would be for me.
Right. Moving away from
because-
your NFL clients.
Yeah, and the NBA clients I have a whole nother business that does fund me and makes me, the real estate and stuff does well, and the Airbnbs and stuff, those do well, right? But I'm very dependent on a solid 6 figures from these clients. And so like the thought about losing that and what replaces that has been a little bit of a challenge for me. I think I have it figured out, but just the thought of that, but not the challenge to where I feel like I don't want to after this season. I'm still letting them go, and the conversations, and it's not really letting them go. I'm not going, the chefs under my brand will still cook for them, but I won't be cooking for them anymore. So yeah, that's
It's a lot of
That's-
transition. It's
yeah.
fierce.
Yeah, the transition is like a really weird thing, but my entire life right now is kind of in transition. I no longer have kids in the house. I I have one, my kids are all separated at this time, and that's a weird transition because they're very close. And my autistic son for the first time is completely solely living on his own, and thank you, and functioning on his own. Thank you very much. And so that's a little bit of that's a proud moment, but also a very scary moment because he's also the kid that doesn't check in very much.
Right.
So thank you. And so I think just life period in this summer has been a very calming transition. I have not lost pay, but it feels like I'm doing less. So, but I'm actually doing more. So I think it's more non-chaotic. And when things come up, I think that I'm just in a space this summer where I've just been dealing with them, not in a place of the world's ending, just how do we take this, restructure this, and
Change.
and change up something so it isn't like that. Like I will never not get my payment before I start work. It is maddening, like I will
Right.
never, ever
And well, and that was a new partner too, right? To all of us. And yeah, but this is where you really get to work the craft of how do you work your contracts, right? This is what we've seen in you, right? We've really seen you pay attention to contracts, get it written, be clear in your contracting, make sure it goes through legal, and then really working on your payment structure. And I think that's solidified for you this year.
Yeah, because I was ready to, I had all these other things that needed to be paid in line. And I'm like, oh, I'll hit that check and then I'll hit pay to those people. And so to not be able to do that was just frustrating to me to not. And then on top of that, then when I did get a payment, it was $4,000 short.
Right.
And so then my attitude kicked in, and then like I've gotten these follow-up emails from this client, and I literally this morning said, stop emailing me until you send me my money. And that was just like the end of the conversation. Like, I don't care if you need follow-up on things. I know thank you emails. I thank the people who I brought in as partners to help out with things. But aside from that, like the thank you emails and all of that stuff, like I'm not sending out shit else. You can deal with whatever else that has to be dealt with that, because I didn't get paid to deal with that.
Right.
And I already gave her a $20,000 discount on top of, you didn't pay me the money that I was supposed to be paid. So just, yeah, she's lucky that I'm a 44-year-old woman and not a 30-year-old woman having this conversation. Because
we don't need to go there, right?
yeah, it would have just been not a good conversation. But other than that, I feel like I'm in a more peaceful place than I've ever been, business-wise, personal-wise, the whole 9 yards. And that's kind of has been a summer transition for me, all together.
For
So
you.
yeah.
Good for you. Okay.
My
well,
son thinks it's cool that you message him, Mickey. Just FYI.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah, he thinks it's very, very cool. And he said, I think Mickey wanted me to go to the state fair.
Oh, yes, that boy.
Yeah.
He wanted.
Yeah,
Her
to
son
me,
moved to college.
Yeah,
And-
Jimmy, that's oh, sorry, go ahead, Mickey.
Well, her son moved to college, and missing the state fair. I mean, if you grew up with Minnesota State Fair, boy, it's a fun thing to do. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, Jimmy, and that's what I was gonna say. It's a hard lesson to learn, but you got to get everything done, because obviously your business is not a payment collection business. You're doing something else. Like even myself, just yesterday, a client wanted to, we're getting a new client want to get moving on things, but they signed the contract, but they haven't sent the payment. And so first thing I did when I sat down with them is like, I need payment first before I can do anything. I mean, we came here to talk, go through their plans, our taxes, whatever. But I'm like, I can't do anything until you pay this. And so I made them log into their laptop and do the e-pay first thing in the meeting. Once that was done, and then I get an email confirmation that it was paid. Okay, great. Now we can go in. So we can put that aside and then it's done. Because I've had it where it's been like you also, I'm like, I'm gonna pay you swear like the good person that we're working with good people, they're gonna pay you, and then guess what, sometimes they don't, or they leave it short or whatever, and now you feel like you were used on it. It's like, wait, why did I go through all this learning and training or whatever it was on it for them just to walk away? And it's like, yeah, no, I can't, you can't operate like that. And
yeah,
so
and it's like the
you gotta-
final payment was my payment, and payment for it, like it was payment for even the referral for the business too. So now I don't get paid, but I still have to go and take out other money so that I can settle up other people and other things. So that's frustrating, because what I had got as a deposit was to pay staff and all the components that needed to be done. And because I had already took less, it was like I rearranged it so that, okay, well, I'm okay with getting paid in the end, and these couple other things like I can pay on the second payment, and then to not get that is just like yeah. So I literally was like, I know she's probably pissed that this morning when she woke up and read, like, do not email me anymore until the email says I'm paid. Don't email me. Like,
You know, she's asking, where's this and where's that? I don't know. And I do know, but I'm not literally not answering.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so no, that'll never happen again.
Yeah.
Trust me.
We're not, I love Andrew's statement of, I'm not a collection business.
No.
Right. Right.
We're not a collection firm. Okay, I'm gonna get us to class.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming. I think you're gonna enjoy all of this.
Wait, did you do
Anything?
Sandy?
What, we did Sandy already, didn't we?
Did you go, Sandy? No.
Yes, Sandy was first.
Oh, I missed her. Okay.
Yeah, we did Sandy this morning, right? You were the first, she was the first one. But Sandy, do you have any words of advice for everyone? No? Okay. I'm going to start sharing my screen, today's topic. Just give me a nod if you can see our schedule, if you can see what's here. And remember the chat box is your big deal. So please use it. Make sure you put in your information. If you have a question or something like that, please pop it in. If you have other things that we want to know, we love that. If you have a special event that you want people to know about, please let them know. Someone like Mike Welton, please put your address of your gallery in there. Michelle, if you've got your class dates, put them in there, right? Penny, if you've got information on dog sitting, please put it in there. We love to hear all of that. Jamie, and I think you have another event in Charlotte coming up. So if you get a chance when you're not driving, put that in there. Staying valuable to your customers. This is, it's my favorite, having long-term clients. They are the lifeline of what is here. So I am going to put up your homework first, so that if you want to screenshot that, you can. But that way you can get your homework first. We'll kind of explain it as it goes through. But again, number one is kind of more than one thing. But again, you really want to look at your top 5 clients for someone in a field. So like that's harder to do if you are in real estate. So what you're going to look at is the top 10 types of sales that you have, and really look at the income that you've made from them. So Mike, this would also be you in that same way, right? Of what are the top 10 types of clients that you have, and the income that you earned from them in the last year. This is, we're in the final quarter of the year, so it's really helpful to look at who has paid you the most. And Andrew, this is going to be a critical find for you, is really identifying those top 5, those top 10. And then I would start looking at the trends that are in your business, and then looking at how that methodology can help the top 10 in your grouping. Business trends are a big deal, right? That sometimes, like for Andrew, is focusing on taxes, but looking for the holes in people's business plans. But when we look at the trends that are here, it really is, so like for Mike, it's really looking at how many more people are buying real art, and how is that important, and how does that actually impact the people who've already collected your work. When we look at all of the different types of businesses that are here, I would start looking at what those top trends are. We're going to be talking about USP today, so that's going to be the big topic, and we'll get to know more of that inside class. I would also look at the top 5 partnerships that you have, and how those are working. What are they the most lucrative, and how those partnerships can be lucrative to your top 10 clients. So it's really also inviting those partnerships to upgrade. Refine how you talk about trends to your clients. I would really think about what it is that's the most important, because remember, conversations are there to create wealth for everyone. So you want to not just look at a trend, you want to refine how you're going to do that. And then the last one is review why you love all your clients, and then figure out how you're going to tell them. The dog in the picture is Vinny, by the way. He was the dog of our old assistant, Shelly. The journal topics today, you can also just screenshot this. Some of you are journalers. And I always encourage you to do that of rapid planning method, really going back in and saying, here's exactly the outcomes that we're trying to get to. So the 5 words that describe your business and why is my first journal topic. And then the second journal topic is, how is the work I'm doing right now leading to the next million in revenue? And many of you may make $1 million over a series of years. Some of you are making $1 million in a year. So, but it doesn't matter what the timeline is. There's another million of revenue coming for everybody. And what is the work that you're doing today to put that in? All of you have another million ahead of you. So just kind of looking at that. Today's agenda, these are the topics. This is another one you can just kind of screenshot. Consistent and persistent tools. We've seen that in all of you today, that if you are consistent and persistent, it really is paying off. It's paying off in how you close a sale. It's paying off in how you are getting paid. It's paying off on what you're setting yourself up to do, of doing the things that are very much the right for you. Getting a newsletter out, gathering emails, right? It's those consistent and persistent things. Updating your methodology. That is when you want to stay viable to your customers, you have to update your methodology. You're growing, and so are the things that you're teaching. Educating clients on how your process benefits them. It is not just saying, hey, here's how it is, but it's educating them very specifically on how you and your process has impacted them positively. As I'm handing clients over, I'm noticing, right, how many things we automated for them. So, like these are automated systems. And so just something as simple as we have a check-in process, or have a valuation process, or we have a scheduler that goes out, right? Just educating clients on how your process can benefit them. Understanding trends is here. And then tracking and reporting and celebrating. It's not just tracking the progress of people, but it's giving them a report on that and then celebrating what that means. So when we look at these long-term relationships, you know why they're there, you know how it's going, and you're going to really take some time. So here's the first part: consistent and persistent. For those of you, you really are looking at how do you reach out to your customers and how do you track them in general. That might be a Facebook post, that might be social media, but it's really looking for why you're staying in touch and why you're reaching out for their benefit. Scheduling, that's also why I schedule a year in advance, because we want people to have the time. We don't want there to be a worry about their time. So why are you reaching out and what is the benefit for them? I call this nibble testing. And it's just kind of a little nibble. Sometimes I don't need a whole big meeting with somebody. Sometimes you just need a little nibble. And sometimes that's putting into your business plan these kind of little nibbles, right? So that might be putting into your business plan something that repeats, like a checkup. It may be to offer something that's just, quick. It's easy for you to do. Hey, do you want me to send you the new tax schedule for 2022? Are you interested? It's just something that we can kind of send out to those top clients, to the relationships that are a little bit more special. It may be annual events around a product or service. When we look at the girls from the store I Like You, we did this with just them having a Christmas ornament event, right? That their store had a special event that they stayed open really late for. They were there all day Saturday. They started super early, and you could just get first crack at all of the handmade Christmas ornaments. And it is a huge event. So they have, it's something that people look forward to all of the time. Then people who really treasure handmade ornaments. So it's an annual event. I always go back to Sandy's beloved pie event, right? It's a way for her to check in and see people. Sometimes it's just a pop-up. Andrew, you did a lot of these where you did networking groups. It may come back. It may come back. But just, you know, something that's fast and easy. Karen used to do happy hour. So something that's just fun here and there now and then. Mike, you're doing, you know, the first Thursday of the month. So those are incentives for people to come over. But it is also sometimes adding a free thing. Sometimes something as simple as going, hey, come on down to the studio. We have a free postcard for you. It is a 25-cent item, but it's going to get somebody down to the store. And it may be a collectible, it might be something else, but it's also a way to think about what's this tiny free thing that can come to be there, that can be for those clients, right? These long-term relationships that are the most valuable. And then it is kind of the special services that are for the in crowd, right? And what I mean by the in crowd is those are the people that are in your top 10. Or it could be the people that are in just your mailing list, or it can be people that are in people who have visited the list that of people who visited the studio. Hey, because you went and came to our studio last year, this is the event, right? The in crowd can be who came to see you at the state fair. The in crowd can be who came and gave us your name at the Armitage event. So, you know, think about special things that are added just for the in crowd. And you get to decide who is the in crowd. And I think that's kind of fun. USP, this is the holy grail of today. This is the holy grail of today. So when you look at that, I will give you, I've been kind of doing it, waiting for you guys to figure out what it was, but it is the unique selling proposition. USP, it is your unique selling proposition. And basically it's saying all parts of your business are going to need to add up as a cohesive message. And when you look at that, you want to look at that as ways that every part of what you do is there. I've shown this picture before because I brought it back because it's State Fair, but again, funnel cakes, not really exotic. So, you know, sometimes marketing goes haywire. This feels super awkward to me, exotic funnel cakes. But again, cool words or something that's fun, it's only going to sell that product once. It's never going to sell it twice. So it's not a great tool to just look for a word. When you're looking for unique selling proposition, right? It's really looking at the things that made you great, right? Nike's Just Do It. See good, so good, they'll fight for it when you're dead. This is a handbag, a high-end handbag, right? They'll fight for it after you're dead. Or Tom's shoes, right? Buy one, get one, give one. These are the words that you're using. We really want them to come down to one sentence. You are looking for something that is your unique selling proposition. And then you're going to go back, right? And we're looking for that to go through. How does that go through all parts of your brand, right? Just do it. Well, okay. How is that through every piece of Nike? They have to think about what their unique selling proposition is. And so when we go back to, right, this nibble testing, when we look at nibble testing, some of those things for you may be, for those of you who have online stores, that might be looking at what are people leaving in your cart. If you guys have seen nibble testing, you see it a lot in When you start to get freaked out that something you looked at online is suddenly popping up in your Google, that's called a pixel. And that's not actually Facebook tracking you. That's actually the way that the product itself was written in whatever you looked at it, that it contains a pixel and it follows you after you leave. So it's not Facebook grabbing it or Google grabbing it. It is the original site grabbing you and taking you for that. So that's sometimes another tool that people are utilizing, is they're putting in a pixel. And a pixel is tracking that formats with that person to kind of remind them. So it's offers to come back is really what they are looking at. So that's one of the things that comes up in nibble testing. When we look at the upselling proposition, what are you looking to do? I would take the week and put that on as your goal. It is your big sentence. It's the big idea of your brand, and you want it to be that big. You want it to be worthy. You want to see that. When you look at your unique selling proposition, what you're looking for is, what do your customers find value in? What do they find value in? Do they find value in having more time, having more money, having more something? Do they value knowing that their pet is safe? Do they value that their home is, that they have tools? I would find out what they find that value in. And the easiest way to do that is to focus on your top 10. That what are they finding value in, and focusing right there. And a reminder that in today's market, being unique, being woman owned or local owned or whatever those propositions are, they're not enough. That's not exciting anymore. It was at one point. They're going to use it as part of the thing, that it's just not enough. It's not enough to make somebody go, yeah, I'm in, because they're not finding the value for you. That may be a topic that fits with your values, buying local, but it's not the proposition. It may be a value add, but it's not really the main value. And that value, so I'll give you one from the Diamond Dealer. So the Diamond Dealer just point blankly says, we keep you on file. Whatever you paid for that diamond, we'll buy it back for exactly what you bought it for. And so that you can use it towards your upgrade. This is that you're able to buy a diamond at this rate, we'll buy it back and you can upgrade, right? So there's their unique selling proposition. This is buy what you can afford. Buy the diamond that you have today, we'll buy the diamond back. We won't buy the ring back, but we'll buy the diamond back. So here's the valuation of your diamond. And so come in and get it valued all the time, and you'll see how much you have as credit. So suddenly now the diamond ring on that finger not only goes up in appraisal value, but it's like, oh, well, let's have it appraised. And now here's how much you have as credit towards your next diamond. That's crazy, right? So it's kind of like going in to go, it keeps going up. Well, you paid $700 for that diamond. Now it's worth $1,300. Now you can have $1,300 in appraisal credit towards your next diamond. They're going to constantly keep using the stock again. They have access to every diamond that they've ever sold. So when you start to look at what are you giving as value to your customers, we have seen this now also in just daycare. Daycare is sending a picture of your kid 3 times a day. They are texting you what your kid does in school. So when you start to look at a unique selling proposition, I would look at what you do really well. What do you do really well? And this is a picture from Meow Wolf. For those of you who haven't heard of this, there's your fun thing to look up. Meow Wolf is an artistic item that was in um, that's in, they've got a new one that's coming in Vegas, but it was a values proposition in New Mexico. And for those of you who are Game of Thrones fans, that's where that money went from that creator, built something of another world example, right? That it is the weirdest, it's fantastically weird as an art installation. But again, right, that's what he did, right? That's what that creator did as an artist, is he made other worlds. And so he invited everybody to create worlds with him and a storyline around those worlds. So when you're thinking about your unique selling proposition, I would think about what you do really well and things that are, right, kind of robotic and crazy. When you look at the person who created the Game of Thrones, that's all he thinks about, right? So you can't take that out of that person to be a writer and a creative. So think about the things that you do really well. Sometimes your selling proposition is that you'll always be you, right? So my selling proposition is I'm never going to wake up and not be a math geek, right? That I'm going to enjoy numbers. I'm going to enjoy how numbers work. So think about what you do really well. Some examples. This is another one you might want to just screenshot of just other ways to think about it for yourself. We did a event with another store of drop it while you shop. And so we basically said, come in. We will ship everything that you have for a set amount, but you can come in and shop and we will ship it all out for you. So every gift that you buy here, we will wrap it up really cute and we'll ship it anywhere you want. So there's a unique selling proposition, right? That we will drop it while you shop. We'll have it delivered on your behalf. Or gosh, if you don't want to carry it all home, we'll just ship it to your house. So if you're out of town, we'll just ship it to your house. Do you want us to wait a few days? When are you going home? Right? So think about just updating the benefits that your clients get and thinking about what those benefits might be. So those benefits are really looking at updating what it is that they actually receive. And so when I'm thinking about that, that might be a copy of a book. That might be a copy of a report. That might be something about, they're interested in, but I would update the benefits that you have. That's another way to stay viable. And bringing something fresh to the table is going to be critical. Sometimes what's very interesting for my top clients is they get a free 20-minute postcard. Boy, that's not very exciting, but sure is. Everybody let 20 minutes, let's go through whatever you got. It's a 20-minute check-in. And so everybody gets a free 20-minute check-in every year. What do you need? So then tell the why and the how your customers are part of that. So telling the why we do classes, right? Why do I do NW2? Well, I do NW2 because that's something that is of value to all of you, right? That you guys help us pick what you are interested in. Some of you have filled out things, some of you have emailed me, but right, that all of these classes are built based on you. So if you have certain things that you're building for your customers, let them know that you're building it because they asked for it. And how do you get that information? Another one is really showcasing that you are more than a trend. Helping them understand that this is a process, that this is something that's regular, that you are something that's more than just a trend. Meaning that something that expires in 18 months. A trend is something that we would see having a lifespan of only about 18 months. So sometimes it's saying, look, this is big now, but it's not big for your big picture, right? So when I think about that, that might be certain types of products. It might be certain types of accounting methods, right? Yeah, it's really trendy to have, you know, QuickBooks on your phone, but it's actually not robust enough for you. There are lots of things that you can kind of talk about there. So when you look at design centric, what is the design of the work that you create and how you bring that value to your customer? So when I think about design centrics, I would think about that as the, how is the best way to say it? It's the craftsmanship of what you're delivering. So when we look at the design of the work that you create, right? Why are you creating in the way that you are? Well, here's our method, right? So when you think about design centric, I would think about your methodology. Here's how we do an intake file. Here's the questions that we ask at the same time. For my clients, I have something called a perfect baseline. So it's a 4-page yes/no questionnaire that we do. So I have a yes/no, I let them know, look, here, this is going to take you under 7 minutes. We time it. I just need you to go through each of these questions. There's 4 stages and just hit yes or no. And that will save you and I about $1,000. And they go, oh, okay, great. Because if I get all this information, I can ask you a lot less questions, right? So letting people know what is the design centric and how does that bring value to your customer. So as soon as somebody says, here's a piece of paperwork and this will save you about $1,000, they go, oh, okay, I like this piece of paperwork. A single statement that defines what the value is that your client receives. That's really what you're looking to get out of this week, is really looking at what is that piece. We have one that came up the other day about a cruise ship, and it is that the cruise ship itself hired a photographer, and that photographer just basically puts into the camera when he's taking pictures of people, and they can go through and see all the pictures and they can have them at the end. So they have all of these photographs of them on that cruise. And so they really just are like, hey, if you don't know how to take pictures or whatever, here's what they are. And they assign them to your room number. So they just put them there. It'll be available for you on this day. You can download them for free. And what happens is that now, because they gave ownership of all of that photographs to people, they instantly had a much greater amount of Instagram photos and Facebook photos of people having great photographs on this cruise ship. And so they started to do an explainer video, and here's what it is. But it was, you know, a cruise that changes the view of the world and free photos to last a lifetime, right? There's a benefit. There's a benefit. And it's just a different way to look at that, right? So that's a unique selling proposition. The third thing we're going to kind of hit today is value. When you start to look at value, that's one of the things that we brought up early, is this is where storytelling should come for you. This is where you have to rethink all your testimonials. This is why explainer videos were made, but we're really looking for value, and value works well in storytelling. So this is not just that quick write down stuff. I would start to look at how you're going to show value in an audio format, in maybe an interview or something else that's a little bit longer, because some of you are creating things that have a transactional value, but many of you are creating things that have a much longer timeline of value. So when we start to look at what is the value to you as a person, to the business itself, to the things that you are creating. So think about the storyline, the storytelling that you want. the other thing about that storyline and showing value is that you and your client are experiencing something together. So you have to talk about how that is together. So when you are thinking about the type of relationship that you're having, they want to know you. They want to know you and what you're doing and what you're creating together. So as many opportunities as you have to be together, to be in the same place, to experience something together. This is also called culture, right? That we're creating a culture around your brand. So if you're having a pie event, if you're having a picnic, if you're having something that you're at, that these are things that are part of your culture. So you and your client are experiencing things together. That might be a golf event. That might be an event that you're putting on. But this is really your first invitation to building culture. We have not done this. I think this, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat box if this is something that you would be interested in. It's reverse testimonials. I haven't done a class on this, but you may want it. It's really is telling others why that client was beneficial to you, of why we really enjoy doing that work. So it is a reverse testimonial. It's not the client saying why you're great. It's really you saying why that client is great. That this is a business case study, or that this is a school that bought all of the art for their art room, that they highlighted it, or this is a project. This might be a community option, but it's really a reverse testimonial. And it's where you are talking about why that is great. I can also use that in the negative format of that. This can also be utilized in ways where you're really telling why someone kind of makes the wrong choice. You can also use it in the negative format as well of, sometimes people will highlight that as why. So I just had one happen where somebody's like, gosh, your hourly rate is too high. They found a new advisor. They knew I was retiring, and that advisor sold them something that will bankrupt them. That it will wipe out every asset that they had for the specific point of only getting a large commission. And you think that those things don't happen. And the $275 for an hour of time, they didn't want to pay, but instead they ended up with almost $70,000 of insurance fees that will go away. So, you know, there are pieces that you can use a reverse testimonial on in highlighting stories of don't do this. But what you really want to do from the prosperity perspective is to really look at the things that you do want to have happen. I would take that and do it the opposite way. We see a lot of the negative pieces in fear tactics. It's just not my style to do that as a reverse testimonial. I think that the way to look at a reverse testimonial is to look at it as a way to ask for more, to go, I want more of this. This is more delicious. And really looking at why this is a good case. Why we like working with this type of person. So if it's working with people who have multiple pets, working with people who really like events that are unique, this is where you can start to go, this is why this is a great client for us. They have lots of events in a year. They are intimate. They want an upscale activity. Here it is. So reverse testimonials might be another one for you. And so this is an example. I use Donna as an example, right? Donna's story is incredible because she never had a community that supported her the way that Rich Chicks does. And then look at her now, right? We can kind of look at where that person is now and why that's a really good fit. This is where explainer videos are really helpful, is to really look at how Donna's story itself is interesting, and how Donna evolved and you were part of that. So I think that's another way to look at it. Another way to look at it is to really look at value is really looking at how you highlight your team and your partners. So it's reworking the value of just showcasing what you do. So this year we had a lot of new team members for me personally. So we just have this slide, right, where we suddenly have our team is made up of our success stories. So we started hiring the people that that we have helped make great. So that we have Vincent, for some of you who may know, he is now working on a new project with us. But it is also that we can talk about what are they doing, and that how is my brand really doing the work of building prosperity in the world. Kirsten is, Kelly has gone, Kirsten is here, but she is also working on international, she's an international teacher, so she's working on her own book, and she's teaching between Switzerland and the Netherlands. We have Kayleen, who is new to us and is working on our Workaway project. Those are a series of books that are coming out, and but she is someone who's reinventing the way small towns do grocery stores, and she has a really powerful story. She's got 2 little kids, but they put in a grocery store in a small town that's open 24 hours a day, and you get in with your phone. You check yourself out. It's on the honor system. So now those small towns with only 500 people can have fresh produce 24 hours a day. They can get into the store. It is powerful. And so teaching people how to do that, right? So when you start to look at who are you hiring? Who are your partners? What are you doing? Our team is made up of our success stories now. And that is another way that you can highlight value. So think about who your team members are and how you're utilizing them. So it may be just looking at another way. I'm gonna just stop share for a second before we hit trends. Is this grabbing you? How is this topic? What are you writing down? I'm watching every one of you write down something different. What are you taking today? Andrew, what I watched you write down a couple of things.
Yeah, USP. I never heard that term before. Selling proposition. I like to call what my initial talk, I like to call it the objection killer, if you're familiar with objections, but I think USP, I like that, unique selling proposition.
Yeah, that is your jam. Michelle, I watched you watch a few things down. Now you are the master of these. You could have written every class I do, but I watched you write down a few things, so that's a big win.
Yeah, I actually took quite a few notes, but I think it's a really good time for me to revisit that USP and talk about it more. One of the things that it's not really my USP, but I just had this, I've been looking for the words, and digital foundation is going to become a bigger part of my languaging, because that's what I'm doing. I'm creating the foundation and then helping people build off of that. And
I love that.
yeah, 'cause that's really what people need, I think. And I think that the way that I do that works really well for my clients. But yeah, I have a lot of notes, and so I'm going to be going through both in terms of what am I doing now? Is it working? And are there things I want to update? Things for just the in crowd, and I liked that a lot too. So
yeah, good. Okay, well, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen.
I also thought that the reverse part was really good.
The
I hadn't even thought about that.
reverse testimonials.
Yeah, because it's often very hard to get testimonials from people,
Well, I think it's,
especially, yeah,
turning it around.
yeah.
Turning it around. Yeah. Janet Mills, I feel like you have something to say.
I think just the whole thing kind of revamped my thinking. So usually I have like a nugget that just is kind of life changing, but this time it was just sort of like the fall fashion trends when you go to the store in the old days and you saw the new clothes. It's like a new way of thinking of business.
Yeah.
So it's just an overall thing. But what I was thinking right when you saw me, the burning thought was we used to do that at the water cooler. You know, we'd be like, oh, this person was awesome. This client wasn't. And if you're a solopreneur, you don't have your water cooler buddies.
Yeah. Jamie, are you at one of the bed and breakfasts or are you at an Airbnb right now? Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to watch you make beds. I'm going back to screen share.
Yeah, we had to fire a cleaner, so I'm cleaning.
Yay! Welcome to the life of, today's millionaires. Okay, so today I'm going to go next to trends. When we think about trends, think about them and you. So you want to think about the trends that are in your industry, and I would just make a top 5 list for yourself. And I would kind of give yourself a little bit of wacky here. And so when I think about that top 5 trends in your industry, I would make that top 5 list. Then I would outline your own position on those top points in those trends. And then I would go back through and delineate those points in a customer-centric way. And then think about that attached to your messaging and your methodology. So this is another one where you might want to screenshot it, because what I just said sounds so easy and it's super not. So when you start to think about the trends, right, you're going to go, here's the trend, right? And here's the things that we want to know about that trend. So a great example for that is a new project that I'm working on called blockchain. So one of the things that I am working on is Minnesota blockchain. So this is a trend in my industry. Many of you have heard of it as cryptocurrency, but blockchain is an accounting method that you're going to see happen. That's already in large companies, and they're using it because it helps things get to places. So, right. So if I look at the trend in the industry, it would be blockchain. Most people recognize blockchain from crypto. Then we look at the outline your position. Here's my position, right? And why is that a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because it's an accounting method that you can't, it's very difficult statistically to bust it open and to fake it. So that's why it's very interesting, and it's very interesting for companies that are doing shipping. So, right, then I would delineate those points to my customers. So that trend in my industry is not particularly exciting to the average person, to the average business that's maybe a photography studio, not very exciting. But my conversation to them is very different about it than my conversation with someone who has a shipping company. So looking at, right, those trends, and how are you going to talk about that in messaging, and how does that stay with your methodology? So in the methodology, everyone can benefit from having accounting that's checked. So if you're doing your own accounting, while blockchain may not be imperative to them, the conversation around blockchain is, and that is that accounting methods have to be checked by some other system. So when you start to look at that, I would start looking at the trends, and that kind of top 3 process is crazy. If you are having a juxtaposition on your brand, that's also sometimes where it's a trend, like here's the trend and here's why I'm going the opposite way, right? Here's the trend on cryptocurrency and here's why I'm the opposite of that. Even though I'm pro blockchain, I'm not always pro crypto. So what does that mean, right? Having a fully thought out conversation with yourself. And, looking at who is your competition and how sometimes they have narrow-minded options. So when we look at that again, right, we go back to the person who said, oh, it's too expensive to pay for this service. And that narrow-mindedness really cost them hugely. So look at how your competition is, who is it, and how sometimes these are narrow-minded options. I don't recommend anyone do their own heart surgery, even though you can watch tens of thousands of hours of heart surgery online. There's a lot of other things that are going on in heart surgery than just cutting up a body, right? So, again, looking at, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. So there's a lot of conversations around that. I'm not a DIY fan on a lot of topics, and complex accounting is one of them. So I don't ever encourage people to do their own accounting without some accountability. Relationships and trend. So when we start to look at just trends in general, now I want to go to relationships. Oh, for those of you who have long-term customers, people that you see year to year, it's easy to just look at, it's just another nut and it's another day to go to work. That's why people build customers that are here all of the time, that these are people they're going to see all the time. Oh yeah, every salon has been built like this, that they're coming in, the bread and butter client, they're going to come in all the time for a specific something. And it's easy to get into that with long-term clients. It's easy to get comfortable. And this is where you really have to focus in on your existing clients are worth more than any new client ever will be. So when you start to look at what is the very first primary focus of what you're doing is to look at your existing clients and see which ones are the most valuable to you, which ones are in what you want to do, and what is there. So existing clients are more valuable because they're already here, but you have a different selling relationship to them and you have to stay viable. Viability is much more, it's just faster paced to get to fruition than it is to put in attractability. So viability, right, is much easier than attractability. And the reason for that is I think it's a 5-letter word, TRUST, 5 letters, right? Trust, TRUST, trust. So when you look at existing customers, the reason that they're valuable and why you want to invest in keeping them viable is trust. The trust has already been built. You've already invested that into the relationship, and they are willing to be with you over time. You have a responsibility in what you're creating to stay amazing, to stay pay attention to details, right? To constantly be a little bit sparkle encrusted, right? And then as attractability, that's a different kind of conversation. So when we look at the trend for what is business, you're going to want to kind of decide what are the trends that are appropriate to your largest resource. And that is the ones that you've already attracted that already have a trust for you. If you don't have a measurement for success, then you're going to want to kind of create one, especially for those top 10 clients, right? So if I was dog sitting, right, here's a measurement of success. right? These 5 things happen. The dog ate every day. That means he's happy. Right? That this is what happened, or this would have, find a measurement of success, and then find a way to let people know that they're hitting it. When I look at individual clients, right, it might be that you have more time. Do you still love your house? Are you still here, right? What is it that you are there? Did you have a wonderful trip? What's the measurement of success, and define how you're going to get there with each client. I have a client that they have multi-generational housing, and I went out to go see their house. I hadn't been there in 6 years, and this was a goal we had set. So I got there and I went, wow, this was our goal. Now you're here. Tell me how it feels. What's it like to have your dream come true? And they really got a chance for themselves to see themselves achieving that goal and what it felt like to be successful. So one of the other reasons that you're looking at a measurement of success for your clients is so that they can achieve. Because if I'm achieving, I'm more likely going to show up. If any of you have ever had a diet and you like weighed yourself every day, like even if you are like 0.2, you know, which is basically like a pat of like if you have burned even 1 butter pat thinner the next day, you're like, yes, I'm winning, right? It's you have to find a measurement of success. This is a key question. And this is one I encourage everyone who's in client relationships in looking at trends, is I would ask them what they're thinking about in their own progress. And this takes it off of you always driving the conversation, driving what's here, right? Ask them what they're thinking about their own progress. And are you missing anything? And this is where, once trust has been built, this right here, if you're going to take one picture, this is the one. Is because once trust has been built with your customers and you have that ability and you ask them that question, what are you thinking about your own progress? And then the follow-up question is, and what would you like to change? Now we have a chance to curate co-creation. Now we have a chance to dig into the things that nobody wants to talk about because I didn't see them, right? So this is when people will come up to me and kind of start to tell me things about their portfolio that I didn't know, or the things that they didn't want to really confess to last year. Yeah, I want to talk about all the stuff that's sitting in the back room that's not sold. I want to talk about how I have all of this product that's not sold, or I want to talk about something else. So what are they thinking about their own progress? This is where magic can happen. RPM, I talk about it all the time, rapid planning method, rapid planning method, rapid planning method. It is focusing in on the outcome-based relationships. What is the goal? What are we moving towards, right? I took this picture of a hot air balloon for this piece, right? Because it's easy to see what we need to do. This is a balloon festival that's at night. It's, I think it's called something about Dragon's Breath. But it is where all of these ballooners come out at sunset, and they have this sunset balloon festival, and you just see these lit up balloons at night, right? It's easy to see the goal there, right? The goal is to be here in the darkness to float around. And it's a different set of skills than flying during the day, because you also only see the balloon when its torch is on, and it's not on all the time. So they have to light themselves up to do that. And so, right, when you start to look at outcome-based relationships, it is to find the outcome that you can always get to. Do you feel great about the service you are receiving? Do you feel that you are better off from what is here? Do you feel as though you got through something? So when you're looking at that unique selling proposition, this is where outcome is really helpful. So sometimes a unique selling proposition is focusing in on what that customer is receiving and what are they receiving that they themselves value. Right? One of the other things that I think are really great is tech tools. When we look at how to build trend with customers, is I would start looking at that text piece. Start using your tech tools to be viable with them, right? This is today's conversation, right? How to stay viable. Text messages, 70% of them are seen in under 3 minutes. So we are seeing services that are coming about. If any of you have had an appointment with me, you may have noticed that you get a text that says, hey, your appointment's coming up, right? It's also booking clients to events and having them RSVP so that you know who's coming. It may be teaching about your products or services as an event. It may be putting that as an online item. We are seeing more and more people pre-record a teaching tool, and then they will just say, hey, we have a viewing event at this time. So if you had built a class, you may want to do a prep for that class and just have a time that people are there, not the time that you're teaching it, but the time that you are showing it. And that's a powerful conversation where tech can also help you stay viable. And talking about social relationships and the businesses in your unique selling proposition. So that goes back to those reverse testimonials, right? Talking about the relationships in the business as it pertains to your unique selling proposition. And then we look at shopping online. There may be things that your people can buy from you online. For those of you who did Cash Cow, this is also where you can give them things that are available to them online. I have a walking group that I participate in, and one of the online shopping tools that they put in for all of their people, which are women who hike in Minnesota, is they have this little wristlet that they have of a tiny single-use mace spray. So that was a shopping event. It's a value add. It's knowing that sometimes women are uncomfortable hiking in the woods by themselves. So when you think about a shopping event online, it's just another way to stay valuable, focus on the client's values, and to be able to, of course, have a little more cash. Partnership and trend. This is our final topic. When you look at partnership and trend, it's really looking at what those partners can do to grow. I always remind people that because you guys everybody here has talent. Everybody here, has done good stuff here. I think that it's just a good reminder to use the best language that you can to talk about your future and the future of the other people around you. And in partnership, this is where really looking at the language is really helpful. These are the trends. How can we buddy up and talk about this trend? But using the best language that you can to talk about your future and the future of other people and the future of what you can do together. When you look at partnership in general, what you want to really clearly understand is that what's the number one thing about a partnership? It is that they look at each other as an equal, and that you as an equal, that we both want to win, we both can put in, and we both want to promote creativity and design in how we co-create. So if they can tell you here's a great example. If somebody can look at something and they go, oh, that totally is that person's work, it might be time to mix it up. It might be time to get more creative and build other partners. So Mike, you watched this in your own piece where you went away and you did a class and you learned a whole bunch of new skills and put out some work that was very interesting. You didn't forget the work that you're known for, but you added some spice in, right? So in that pace, think about some things that are mixing it up and surprise your customers, surprise the people that you're working with, surprise your partners, because that's the fun, right? That's the fun of this. It's staying fresh with people that you've worked with for a long time. So even the partnerships that you have that are always there with you, it's looking at what you can do to stay fresh in those tested and trusted relationships. Okay, here's we're gonna move into the takeaway. Again, I was kind of thinking about all of the quotes that I put out there, and what would I be saying at the end of today for you? And that is on the topic, right? Make your words mean more than just talking, right? That's your unique selling proposition. Really looking to, for those of you who were in Goblet Summer, right? Toast to the kindness that's already been gifted. These are people who love to be with you. Being friends with the obvious, right? The obvious is that you're here to make money, and you're here to consistently create. So, this is obvious, but be friends with that. Be friends with the fact that you're going to put out a sale today, or that you're going to put out an event. Be friends with that, and be friends with the fact that we need to focus those in on people who like to buy from you. Right? Feed your gifts. What is great about you? We need more of that. Be willing to be your most amazing self. One of the things that is here is that even though you may have self-assurance at some time, there's also this other piece of self-insurance, insurance, self-insurance, right? One of the things that we forget about is that being self-assurance is also your insurance policy. The more comfortable you are being you at your best, the larger the insurance policy is that people will work with you as you. So think about self-assurance as self-insurance. And again, right, sometimes it's not that I'm waiting for the universe to open up, right? I'm just looking for a way to move forward. I'm just looking for a way to move forward. So let's go to your takeaway. I'm just going to remind you what your homework is. If you didn't get a chance to get a picture of Vinny here, please do. But these are the homework pieces here. So just take a screenshot. I'm going to come back to all of us. Oh, did I get you too late, Sandy? Do you need me to put it back up? Okay. Okay, takeaways. I'm just going to start with Mike because you're in the middle of my screen. What is your takeaway?
I kind of related to things I'm already doing with what you're saying, but just I think reassuring that I'm doing some things right, but doing them more consistently and getting people to make sure I'm doing them consistently, I think is important. So
Yeah. I'm really excited about your whole next year because you've got all of this new stuff starting to work. And I think this next year is going to be really fun for you.
thanks.
Are you feeling that too? Or is that just me loving you too much?
Yeah, I think, again, I think it's, if I keep on a track and kind of discipline, it's so easy when I create something, I kind of allow my mind to wander and kind of go naturally to color and shape and this and that. But then the business part of it has to be like a lot more organized and trained. I have to do this, this, and this. So it's hard for me to get excited for doing that. because it's using like two different parts of my brain almost, it's like, okay,
It totally is. It totally is. You're an artist for a reason.
yeah. So,
Right. Right.
but when the
Yeah.
two can come together, yeah, it is exciting. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So Eddie, one thing pop out for you today?
Just the partnership. I think I could use some more partners because I think as an artist, you're so used to like working by yourself, and it gave me this idea of who can I like partnership with or start to think about including in a business type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to invite the group to that. So if you have any great partnership ideas for Mike Welton's art, you can click, because you put your link in, right? In the chat box. Did you put the link to Mike Welton art in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can click on that. But if you have any partnership ideas for Mike, you can either private message him in the chat box or you can just put them in the chat box. We'd love to see that. One of the things that I do always like is just bringing a group of friends over to see the studio. He's done some new work in it, but it's a great date. It's a great fun thing to do, to go, hey, let me go meet somebody. Penny, welcome back. What's your big takeaway?
My big takeaway is it's just to give me some fresh ideas to revamp one of my websites. So after we get the launch done, we might try starting with that because I'm going to reword some things. So that was good. And the reverse testimonial, I like that because like Karen had said, it is hard to get your clients to do testimonials. So it'll be a nice fresh way to freshen up the site.
Right, and speak truth. And I think that's something that you're personally very good at, is right, speaking your truth and the truth that you build for other people.
Yes, not everybody likes that though.
Well, that's, right, keep your words good, right? Keep your kindness. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Sandy, I saw you take a lot of notes. What's your big takeaway today?
I really like the idea of the reverse testimonials because I really do enjoy working with my clients. And as we're going through the process, I just think about, like how much I like working with them, like, and what about it do I like they listen to me, they're a nice family, like they know what they want, or maybe they don't know what they want, and it's a process. And so this one family popped up in my mind right away that I would like to do a reverse testimonial on. And I mean, there's a lot of people like that. So that just resonated with me and got my wheels spinning. So I'm going to do that for sure. And then I wanted to just say a little bit about Mike. So like, I love, I'm not a creative. I'm not a crafty. I don't do art myself, but I love to look at it. I love to watch movies and read books about art. And so like if Mike sent out a newsletter once a month, I mean, I'd love to look at the pictures of his art. I'd love to hear about his process and maybe see pictures of his studio and hear about any upcoming shows. Like that would be just super interesting just to me as a regular person that just likes to look at art. I love to hear about artists. So I just wanted to share that.
And videos. I mean, I think the videos are really a great idea of, right, about your work, about your process. And Mike, you have a very interesting process. So it's easy to photograph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Janet Mills, what's your takeaway?
Sorry, you just reminded me of another class. It was videos of your process. Oh, no, it was, yeah, like showing people videos of the process. Okay, my takeaways, all of it, and I'm going to watch it again. But the things that made me really happy were measurement of success, the word success, what makes working together rewarding, and the complimenting your clients and giving them an update to track things. And then so kind of the good stuff, the feel good stuff would motivate me. So I kind of got, that's how I can motivate my brain. And the best example was I Like You, the gift shop. I went to the fair and look for them, and they had shirts and hats, but so you got to go to the store. And it was the last day of the fair. So the store, the first time I discovered them, they had all these cool handmade, they're one of a kind things. And they went back and they were gone. So you got to get there early. And so I love that idea of the ornament and the special event where you have the first chance at it. So just kind of amplifying the exciting stuff, amplifying the good stuff. I think that will get me working harder. And the other thing is our son and his girlfriend came home for Thanksgiving last year. And they said, we want to go to a cool gift shop. I'm like, you live in Brooklyn. They're like, no, we don't have one. We want to go to I Like You. So we went straight from the airport to I Like You.
I love that.
And they went shopping for funky handmade Minnesota stuff.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, Mike, I just want to make sure that you got the message that Andrew typed into the chat box for you. All right. Well, so from there, I'm going to go right to you, Andrew. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, I already talked about USP, but that one question you had in the relationships, ask them what they're thinking about their own progress. I mean, I go through goals a lot with them and get that updated, but haven't really, unless they tell me like, oh my God, this is great, amazing. Like, I don't really ask you, so where do you think you're at? A lot of times I have to, well, quite a few times I have to remind them like, hey, when we first met, you're only like a $700,000 business. Now you're a $2.5 million business. So you've done well, but not really ask them themselves what they think. So that's
It's a courageous question. And it's a trust building question. It's a truth telling moment. And when you have to be a little fearless to ask it. And you have to kind of wait back for a minute and be prepared to have a secret revealed.
yeah. Well, because a lot of times I guess just kind of assume that we're doing great. My contract's 1-year contracts and they rehire you. So okay, yeah, obviously things going great. But actually asking them like, how do you feel you're at? Like, oh, we feel great, whatever. So that's
And then the next question, what's the follow-up question after that?
Sign here, press no, I'm just kidding.
Right, sign here, pay here. Right, how's it going? And what do you need to change?
Yeah.
Right, what do you need to change? Not what do I need to change? What do you need to change?
Yeah.
Or what in general needs to change? Because this is when you get the real meat of I got $2 million worth of product sitting in the back I'm not telling you about. You never know. You never know. Jamie, and what's your takeaway today?
My takeaway is pretty much all of it because I'm preparing for a change of a rollout for myself. So just thinking about how do I capture more live, that's on my list, more live testimonial in the moment of what's going on and video and those type of things. And I get some really cool day after text messages and I'm trying to figure out how to, I'm really going to been taking some time about figuring out how do I take those and possibly ask the client to like, can you put this on video or can you, cause I get a lot of that after like doing a dinner on Friday, the text message I got back from the lady, she was like, I've never given myself a birthday party ever before. And when I walked into my home, she talked about like how she felt and how like all morning it took her hours to text me back to just express how she felt about it, right? And I said, like, just taking in what she said, but like how many moments, I get a lot of those moments and I don't capture those at all. And because I don't get a lot of the follow-up pieces of my clientele and that type of stuff, like they may call me back for something else that they're doing, but it's not as instant. It's not as instant as some other businesses may be. But what I do know is their words that they're sending me will get me the next client,
Right.
or the next person to explain how that is. But just they're always the most moving testimonials, that type of things.
Right.
I worked last year really hard on my collaborations, very clear on those pieces, but definitely today I took away just the work, continuing doing the work to what I'm putting out next. I'm getting ready for the holidays. So I'm rolling out every week holiday stuff and what that looks like. And then how do I capture my clientele from the past, but also the current ones that are coming in? Like, how do I capture those testimonials and those reviews to use those to keep business going? Did I pause? Did we blank out?
Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, no. I think we're back.
You're here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Mickey just froze, but yeah, so that's it. That's what I took away.
Mickey's frozen.
You're frozen on us, Mickey.
We feel your love, but your face is frozen. No, there you
Okay,
go.
well, I am frozen.
No, you're
Whatever.
back.
I know I'm
You're
back.
back. You're moving and animated.
It's so great. Okay, well, I'm glad that everyone was here today. Karen, any takeaway for you?
Well, there's a lot of takeaways there for me. You know, coaching is different from a lot of things that other people do. And the testimonial part of it for most coaching clients is not something that they want to do because it's private and personal. And so the reverse one, I think, is good. I think the trends in coaching and in other businesses is definitely digital. There's so many times that you wouldn't think that, you know, coaching, you should be there in person, to be all of that stuff. Well, during COVID, that was not possible. And so you either went with the technology or you didn't. And there's a lot of things about like the scheduling and other things like that. There are a lot of things out there to help you with that, you know, you have to look at because it's easier. That's it.
All right, well, everyone, I'm just gonna quick share the screen of homework again in case you forgot it. You know, I'm gonna encourage you to enjoy Vinny, this beautiful dog. But again, right, go to your top 10 clients. That is where I would focus your energy. I would start looking at the trends that are important to you and to those clients. Really focusing in on your unique selling proposition, right? What is it? I would go back to those partnerships and figure out how they are lucrative to your top 10. Refine how you talk to your clients about trends. And then, you know, again, review why you're loving on everybody. That it's a big deal and you guys do some great work. So
I have a question.
yes.
Are you holding people accountable for this? And if so, how are you checking back to find out if they did it?
Well, everybody has to do their own homework. So again, we don't turn in class, but you know, you do have to do your own homework. But if you want to put up something on NW2, you know, we do have Facebook. So I would love that. If you are on NW2 Facebook and you want to put something up, boy, that would be really fun.
Yeah.
If you have a unique selling proposition, boy, I'm always tickled to see that. Okay, thank you very much. We are exactly 10:59. We are on the dot. Thank you everyone for spending time with me. Any last words of advice for Mickey Mikeworth?
Get
Thank
ready for
you.
your birthday.
Yeah, it's all, I have a birthday coming. Yeah. Any other, Janet, do you have some advice for me?
I just said thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other words of advice for Mickey Mikeworth? I'll take them all. Okay, bye everybody. Have a great day. Have a great day. Have a great day. Bye. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, we can stop recording.
Okay, that was the